The current Arab-Israeli war, which has erupted in the Gaza Strip, is rapidly gaining momentum. Hercules transports from the United States have been shuttling to Israel, delivering hundreds of tons of American armaments. In early October, the United States sent its most expensive aircraft carrier, Gerald Ford, worth $13 billion, with escort ships to the eastern part of the Mediterranean Sea. Later, another aircraft carrier, the Dwight Eisenhower, was sent to the region. And now it's been revealed that the White House has sent an Ohio-class nuclear-powered submarine, the Florida-class submarine, to the Gulf region. In this video, we will explain what these submarines are, as well as the reasons why the Florida ended up in the conflict zone. Some of our viewers have shuddered when they heard about the dispatch of a nuclear-powered submarine like the Ohio to the conflict zone. You bet, because the Ohio is a strategic submarine with 20 Trident intercontinental ballistic missiles. What is this? Accelerated preparations for World War III? After all, Trident, with a target range of 7,800 kilometers and having 8 thermonuclear warheads of 475 kilotons of TNT each, will obviously be used against Palestinian militants. For them, F-15 and F-16 with corrective bombs will be enough. So we're preparing a strike against the Russians or the Chinese? We haven't had to reassure you. Yes, there is an Ohio in the Persian Gulf, but not the Ohio. 4 boats of this type are not carriers of 20 Trident, but carriers of 154 Tomahawk cruise missiles each. So no World War III. Or yet, watch the video to the end and you'll see what we mean by yet. Now a quick recap of what such an Ohio is. Ohio-type submarines are a series of third-generation American strategic nuclear-powered submarines that entered service between 1981 and 1997. The Ohio-class submarines form the backbone of the U.S. Strategic Offensive Nuclear Forces and are constantly on combat patrol, spending 60% of their time at sea. Since 2002, they've been the only missile carrier type in service with the U.S. Navy. Currently, 14 out of 18 submarines of the series are armed with 24 intercontinental ballistic missiles of the Trident system, equipped with individually guided missiles. By the way, in terms of the number of deployed intercontinental missiles, the Ohio boats still hold the palm of superiority. For example, Russia's newest Bore A-class strategic submarines have only 16 missiles on board. The other 4 Ohio subs are cruise missile carriers. Now, here's more about the latter subs in detail. The head missile carrier of the 4 is the Ohio submarine of the same name, serial number SSGN 726. Next come Michigan, SSGN 727, Florida, SSGN 728, and Georgia, SSGN 729. Note the abbreviation SSGN. If there were ballistic missiles on board, the abbreviation would be different. SSBN, which stands for Ship Submarine Ballistic Nuclear, the abbreviation SSGN shows that this is a submarine with cruise missiles. If we talk specifically about the submarine Florida, it is the 3rd American submarine of this class, launched in 1981. In 2003, instead of strategic ballistic missiles, it received the multi-purpose subsonic cruise missile Tomahawk and changed the corresponding index from SSBN to SSGN. Florida belongs to the 16th Submarine Squadron of the U.S. Navy with a home station at the Naval Submarine Base, Kings Bay, Georgia. The submarine is 170.7 meters or 560 feet long and has a displacement of 18,750 tons. The boat has a single nuclear reactor. It's a double-circuit pressurized water-water reactor type, SHG, developed by General Electric. Its resource compared to the previous model was increased by 2 times. The core contains nuclear fuel, highly enriched uranium-235. It's enough for about 100,000 hours of active operation, which is equivalent to about 9 to 11 years of constant use of the reactor at full power, or the range of full sailing 280,000 miles or 450,000 kilometers. And the economy mode, 800,000 miles or 1,300,000 kilometers. Taking into account the real modes of operation, which have become much more gentle than during the Cold War, 3rd-generation nuclear submarines can serve up to 30 years without reactor core recharging, and 42 to 44 years if single recharging is performed. The reactor spins 2 turbines with 30,000 horsepower each. This allows the boat to reach speeds underwater of more than 25 knots, That's 46 kilometers per hour or 29 miles per hour. The surface speed is 17 knots. Submarine missile carriers of the Ohio type have traditional American nuclear-powered submarines with single-hull designs. When creating this generation of boats, close attention was paid to reducing the noise of submarines and improving their radio-electronic, especially hydroacoustic weapons. For self-defense, each boat is equipped with 4 torpedo tubes of 533 millimeters or 1.75 feet caliber. These torpedo tubes are located in the bow of the submarine, slightly angled to the diametral plane. The boat's ammunition includes 10 Mk-48 torpedoes, which can be used against both surface ships and submarines of a likely enemy. As part of submarine modernization under the Acoustic Rapid COTS insertion program, all hydroacoustic systems of the Ohio-type boats were upgraded to the AN/BQQ-10 variant. Instead of the 4 hydroacoustic stations on board the boat, a common COTS-type station was used, which stands for Commercial Off-the-Shelf with an Open Architecture. This solution allows for easier upgrading of the entire system in the future. The new system, among other things, can conduct hydroacoustic mapping. This allows the submarine to create a high-resolution hydrographic map and exchange it with other vessels. The resolution of the equipment installed on board makes it possible to distinguish even small objects such as mines. A special station, AN/WLR-10, is used to notify the crew of acoustic exposure. The AN/WLR-8 V5 radar warning station, operating on the 0.5 to 18 GHz range, is used in conjunction with it when the boat is in the surface position. The submarine also received 8 Mk2 launchers designed for acoustic jamming and the AN/WLY-1 hydroacoustic countermeasure station. The main purpose of this station is automatic detection, classification, and subsequent tracking of attacking torpedoes and signaling the use of hydroacoustic countermeasures. As we've already said, the nuclear-powered submarine Florida is armed with 154 Tomahawk cruise missiles. At the same time, 22 of the 24 available silos have been modernized for vertical launch of cruise missiles. Each of these silos can accommodate 7 Tomahawk cruise missiles. At the same time, the 2 silos closest to the deckhouse were equipped with airlocks, ASDS mini-submarines or DDS modules designed to allow combat swimmers to exit while the boats in an underwater position can dock to these chambers. These facilities can be installed on the boat either together or separately, not more than 2 in total. At the same time, their installation partially blocks the cruise missile silos. For example, each ASDS mini-submarine blocks 3 silos at once, while the shorter DDS module blocks 2. As part of a special operations unit, i.e. SEALs or Marines, the boat can additionally transport up to 66 people, and in the case of a short-term operation, the number of paratroopers on board the boat can be increased to 102 people. The number of crew is 155 people, including 140 sailors and 15 officers. The operating diving depth is 365 meters or 1,200 feet, and the ultimate depth is 550 meters or 1,800 feet. Florida is the only one of the Ohio-class submarines that's participated in combat operations with corresponding missile launches. In 2011, the boat fired 90 Tomahawk missiles at air defense targets and facilities in Libya as part of the joint U.S.-UK Navy Operation Dawn Odyssey. So still, why is this nuclear submarine in the Persian Gulf? It's not to hit Gaza with Tomahawks. Israeli air power is sufficient for that. The White House said that the United States sent a nuclear submarine to the Middle East to ensure the safety of the U.S. military. This was stated by the coordinator for strategic communications in the National Security Council of the White House, John Kirby. The official also said that the U.S. will continue to send a strong deterrent signal to any party to the conflict that thinks about escalating or deepening the conflict. And it's in these last words, in our opinion, that the main purpose of Florida's presence in the conflict zone lies. It's a deterrent signal. To whom? What does the U.S. mean by any party to the conflict that would consider escalating or deepening the conflict? Of course, it's Iran, a longtime and principled enemy of Israel and perhaps Russia. Putin's desire to further stoke the fires of war in the Middle East to further distract the U.S. from helping Ukraine is understandable and logical. Of course, Russia will not directly intervene in the conflict. There's Iran and its proxies in the form of Hamas and Hezbollah for that, but it can send its weapons to the region. Iran is sending its weapons in the form of Shahed drones that hit Ukraine's infrastructure. And not only does it send these Shaheds, it also has given Russia the technology to manufacture them. And now in Russia, a factory for their manufacture is being built at a rapid pace near Kazan. So why can't Russia in return transfer to the Persians the technology of manufacturing its hypersonic missiles, Kizai and Zircon? By the way, recently Iranian leaders have already announced that they have a hypersonic missile. Now imagine that with such a missile, Iran would hit an Israeli nuclear center. It would be a disaster for the Jewish state, given its tiny size, only 470 kilometers or 290 miles long and only 135 kilometers or 85 miles wide. The country's area is 22,145 square kilometers, or 8,550 square miles. That's like 3 New York cities, or like the state of Utah. The area of the Chernobyl zone in Ukraine, formed after the Chernobyl nuclear power plant accident and uninhabitable, is 2,600 square kilometers, or 1,000 square miles. But it was one nuclear reactor that exploded, and the Israeli nuclear center probably contains atomic weapons. So the contamination could cover all or almost all of Israel. Again, it would be a disaster. And not only for Israel, but for the whole world. Then a nuclear war would break out, and to cool down the ardor of Iran and Russia, Florida, with 154 Tomahawks, is in the Persian Gulf. And one final touch, at the beginning of the video we talked about the abbreviation of this nuclear submarine, SSGN, but we didn't give the full transcript. And the full acronym is Ship Submarine Guided Nuclear. Nuclear! The Florida could be carrying Tomahawks with nuclear warheads. This is a clear signal from the U.S. If you attack Israel, we will not be afraid to start a nuclear war. What do you think about this? Write about it in your comments below. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click on the bell not to miss new videos about modern weaponry. We hope you have a great day, and we'll see you again soon.